morning. You're welcome to News Morning here on TV3. I am Enyunam Haliga, coming up in a few minutes. The Black Stars of Ghana secures a first 3 points at the ongoing FIFA World Cup with its opener against Panama. Also in this bulletin, about 10 heads of state arrive in Ghana for the Next Step Summit on the way forward after the UN slave trade resolution starts today. And much later, we'll tell you the Bank of Ghana converts all rural banks into community banks as part of a major financial sector reforms to deepen inclusion and the banking sector's services nationwide. We have details of these stories and other stories. Please stay with us. We'll start off with some good news as the Black Stars of Ghana secured their first 3 points on the ongoing FIFA World Cup in their opener against Panama. The goal by Caleb Yurinchi in the dying embers of the 10th game sets the Black Stars up for the second game against England. Now, 20-year-old Yurinchi tapped in a delicious cross from Thomas Asante from close range to give the Stars a flying start at the World Cup. On Tuesday, June 23, Ghana will seek to earn another 3 points against England in what promises to be a blockbuster encounter. We'll bring you on that update on that in a subsequent bulletin from the sports team. But moving on to some other stories now. Well, we wish the Black Stars congratulations, and we ensure that the entire country is proud of them. But moving on to some other stories now. Ghana is hosting world leaders, policy makers and dignitaries from over 80 countries as she takes the next steps after securing a UN resolution which declared the transatlantic slave trade as against the grievous crime against humanity. About 10 presidents, including Emmanuel Macron of France and the Prime Minister of Barbados, have confirmed their participation in the Next Step conference, which aims to develop a blueprint for repatriative justice, which starts today.
From our historic coastlines, we have carried grace, history, resilience, and purpose.
For 20 years, participation in the Next Step conference, which aims to develop a blueprint for repatriative justice, which starts today. Now moving on to some other stories now, the Bank of Ghana has officially converted all rural banks into community banks under its revised microsector framework. According to the central bank, this marks a significant shift aimed at strengthening community-level financial services and expanding access to banking across both rural and urban areas.
The central bank says the move is intended to reposition the sector as a modern banking segment capable of delivering inclusive financial services to communities across Ghana. Under the directive, all existing rural banks are required to complete statutory name changes, corporate rebranding, and other regulatory adjustments by December 2026. The conversion comes as the rural banking sector marks 50 years since its establishment in 1976 to promote financial access in underserved communities. According to the Bank of Ghana, the sector currently consists of 147 licensed institutions operating nearly 1,000 branches nationwide and serving more than 80 million customers. The central bank believes the transition will strengthen community-level financial intermediation and support broader efforts to integrate more Ghanaians into the formal financial system.
Now moving on from that now to the courts, where the Accra High Court has discharged the prosecution's first witness, the head of commercial banking at the Agricultural Development Bank, after defense lawyers completed their cross-examination following his testimony. Among other things, the witness told the court that both Gifty Owari Mensah and her husband are not directors of Block of Life Consult, a company prosecution alleges that the former NSA deputy director used to launder money. Lord Idwasari has more in this report.
Gifty Owari Mensah is facing charges of stealing, causing financial loss of more than 31 million cedis to the state and money laundering. According to the prosecution, as deputy director of the National Service Authority, she caused the outfit to pay 6.95 million cedis in interest on a 31.5 million cedi loan said to have been improperly authorized for Blocks of Life Consult, a vendor she introduced to supply items to service personnel on hire purchase. Gifty Owari Mensah has pleaded not guilty and is on bail. During the course of his testimony, the head of commercial banking at ADB, Gilbert Sebeyeboah, intimated to the court that neither the accused person nor her husband appears as a director, shareholder, beneficial owner, or authorized signatory of Blocks of Life Consult Limited. Sebeyeboah further confirmed that the mandate form submitted to ADB identified only two authorized signatories on the account, Obeng Charles Jr., described as a director, and Emmanuel Mensah, described as operations manager. The witness also noted during cross-examination by defense lawyer Gary Nemakumafo that while a hire purchase suspense account for the hire purchase facility was not operated by Blocks of Life Consult Limited, transfers from the suspense account to the company were made on the instructions of the accused person. Again, the head of commercial banking at ADB stated that the National Service Authority, NSA, had not filed any formal complaint against Gifty Owari regarding theft of money in relation to the hire purchase facility with the bank. When asked whether there had been any such complaint of the theft of 31.7 million cedis by the accused, he noted that he was unaware. The case has been adjourned to Monday, June 22nd, for the prosecution to call another witness to the stand. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
His stories, the Ghana Education Service says it's taking a firm stance against sexual misconduct in schools, insisting that teachers found culpable will face the law and disciplinary sanctions. While GES says student safety remains a top priority, the Parent Teachers Association is also calling for stronger preventive measures and closer collaboration between schools and parents to protect learners.
The latest allegation from Bole Senior High School has reignited concerns over the effectiveness of existing reporting, monitoring and prevention systems against sexual harassment in senior high schools. In many schools across Ghana, teacher-student sexual misconduct remains a troubling issue, often overlooked despite effort to address it. The General Secretary of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association of Ghana, Gabson Kofi Raphael, expressed frustration over what he described as weak enforcement of existing policies.
We want them to go beyond that and make sure that he goes through the full length of the disciplinary procedure and make sure that he is dismissed, released from the GES system and taken off the system. We are also calling on the GES and the Ghana Education Service that it calls for sober reflections that the system we find ourselves in clearly tells us that the GES must implement the sexual harassment guidelines now.
According to him, although parents are the primary caregivers of their children, teachers also have a role to play, and the need for discipline and professionalism in the line of duty.
We urge our students that anytime they sense danger that they are not safe, they should report it. But that is why if the GES guidelines on sexual harassment is actually being rolled out, it will make students more assertive, to make students more vocal. It makes parents also know the role they have to play. It makes also teachers know that the boundaries that they find themselves in and the kind of things they have to do.
Meanwhile, the head of public relations at the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fingi, explained that GES has a clear code of conduct regarding teacher-student sexual misconduct.
Part of our rules is that if you are a teacher, you cannot have carnal knowledge. You cannot have any sexual engagement. You cannot see the nakedness of a student, regardless of the age.
He explained that following the recent incident, stricter measures have been put in place to prevent a recurrence.
If you are a teacher and you are found culpable in this situation, you face potential dismissal and even some jail term when minors are involved. We encourage them to report any such advancement from their teachers or colleagues. When they are not comfortable, they should be able to report so that immediate action can be taken.
A cross-section of the public shared their views on relationships that develop between teachers and students.
GES has done a lot. They do a lot all the time by putting out information on young students not approaching their teachers or teachers not approaching their students. But then here lies the case right now. I think it's up to you, the individual, to also say no when your teacher comes to you to come and ask for something from you that way.
Teachers having affairs with students, I don't think is the best. Although it's the teacher's fault, say he's having that affair with, but sometimes it's the students who approach the teachers with those things. So
things like this, when it comes out, it puts a kind of bad image to the school first and to the teacher. Sometimes it ends up making the teacher lose his or her job.
As investigations continue, the GES says the teacher implicated in the Bole Senior High School sexual misconduct allegation remains interdicted pending the outcome of the investigations. The student is also expected to undergo guidance and counseling as part of psychosocial support.
To some health stories now, with the exception of pregnant women, children under 5 and lactating mothers, all eligible persons will be vaccinated against elephantiasis, river blindness and bilharzia in 15 pandemic regions. The exercise, which forms part of efforts to achieve the global target of eliminating neglected tropical cases and diseases by 2030, will start on Saturday, June 20 and end on July 3. A report by Sarah Apenkro.
Neglected tropical diseases (NTDs) continue to affect millions of Ghanaians despite significant progress towards their eradication. Ghana is currently endemic to 14 out of 21 NTDs recognized by the World Health Organization. While the country has successfully eradicated guinea worm, sleeping sickness and trachoma, the remaining active diseases continue to pose a threat. Currently, the burden of river blindness, which is caused by a parasitic worm and transmitted through bites of infected black flies, has reduced from 149 districts to 86 districts. Elephantiasis burden has also reduced from 117 endemic districts to 3, while bilharzia remains a public health concern in all districts across the country. The Mass Drug Administration, according to health experts, remains one of the most effective and safest strategies for interrupting the transmission. Dr. Samuel Kaba Korea is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service.
From 20th June to 3rd July 2026, trained health workers and community volunteers will visit communities to provide free medicines to eligible individuals. These medications are safe, effective, and vital in protecting families from river blindness, elephantiasis, and bilharzia. When the health workers and the volunteers visit, please take the medicine as directed and encourage others to do same.
CSOs and development partners want government to make more commitment towards adequately funding the programs and promoting a coordinated approach.
We need a bit more on coordination, collaborating with all sectors, working together. It's an area we need to strengthen because these diseases go beyond health, and a bit more funding. If you increase the public funding for some of these diseases, because now the funding landscape has changed. So it's about time we looked inside our own.
The upcoming exercise is expected to reach some 6.7 million eligible persons from 86 elephantiasis endemic districts in 15 regions, 266,000 people in 2 river blindness endemic districts, and over 1 million persons across 13 bilharzia endemic districts will also be covered.
Now, the road leading to the Ga East Municipal Hospital is being reshaped under the District Road Improvement Program aimed at improving access and ensuring safer movement for emergency vehicles. Doctors at the facilities have also contributed 4,000 Ghana cedis to support the rehabilitation works.
A 1.2-kilometer stretch of road has been captured under the DRIP initiative aimed at improving vehicular movement in the area. The intervention is expected to ease transportation challenges, particularly for ambulances and patients accessing healthcare services. However, concerns remain over the deteriorating state of the road, with calls intensifying for urgent repairs. Residents say the current condition poses serious risk, especially for patients being transported in emergency situations. In response to these concerns, doctors at the Ga East Hospital have reportedly contributed 14,000 Ghana cedis to support the DRIP project. Authorities, including the Municipal Chief Executive for Ga East, Edmund Agbo, and the Member of Parliament for Dome-Kwabenya, Elikblim Akrugu, have consistently highlighted the need to upgrade roads within the municipality.
Hospital na ukwadia dura bedu kwa na dura na hwia enya hapo musuku koka estate edura no pa ko gina kwa ho a uba 5:30 a ebebo 7 na oda gina ho ehwa tutu saa ya nante
Ghanaians kwane de no kwasem enye nene nyame aye adoma ye hu se won twakwan so yesre se won nye ni e ma yenye saa so pinfo bi ko ha na emergency
Seth Agui, DRIP coordinator for the Ga East Municipal Assembly, says the team is committed to completing the project on schedule to ensure smooth movement of vehicles.
Last year we had a project that we were doing. We were going into each electoral area for 10 days. We go in there, reshape the major roads for 10 days. Then we move into the next electoral area. We started around August and finished at the close of the year. So this one we are just doing the special assignment. That's the roads that are really bad, because of the rain. Then we move in and reshape them.
The DRIP initiative forms part of a broader effort to improve road infrastructure across the Greater Accra region, where significant progress has been made in road rehabilitation.
And that's how we end News Morning here on TV3. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam Haligai, and a big congratulations to the Black Stars.
So we're hoping that this will energize us into the next games that we have. I just did mention that our next game is with England on 23rd. And of course, Kofi Kinata bringing us in on the show this morning. But if you're watching us from wherever you are in any parts of the country or even outside of the country, you may send us your message as regards your own assessment of the performance of the Black Stars last night. And of course, we'll be speaking to experts as well to give us their own analysis of how we performed and what that means for us going into the next phases of the game. So once again, you're welcome to New Day on TV3. We'll be talking about this. We'll also be looking as well into the minority and the government issues regarding the Afari Military Hospital. Is it $85 million debt that is left for us to complete this hospital that we understand is already 98% complete? Or is it $500,000 as stated by the minority in Parliament? We'll be looking at that as well and really moving forward. What is left for us to do to complete this hospital? It's a 500-bed hospital, and so the expectation is that we'll be able to finish it and operationalize it so that we are able to deal with the pressure currently on the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. And of course, a lot more people are able to get access to health and healthcare, and of course, quality healthcare delivery as well. So we'll be looking at that. And then the news coming in that although the former boss of Maslock, Sedina Tamaklo, has arrived in Ghana to serve her 10-year jail term, apparently she's under house arrest. And she arrived on the 9th of this month. How long does it take administratively, legally, for her to be put behind bars after she was already convicted? We'll be looking at all of that. And I just tell you that we'll be speaking to some experts. We'll get the, you remember that in December last year, the sports minister inaugurated the sports fund, which is supposed to help develop really our sports, the sports in Ghana. We'll be looking at how much they've been able to raise and what that means for sports development, the future of not just the national team, but of course of all our sporting activities moving forward and what we need to do right. And we'll have our regular panel members joining us today for the conversation that we'll be having on the big issue. I just told you that we'll be doing the Afari Military Hospital and the concerns of the minority as well regarding the costs. Actually, in that press conference, if you monitored, the minority accused the government of trying to create loot and share by stating that it may need, or the country may need, $85 million instead of $500,000. So we'll be looking into that really, and we'll have, like I did say, we'll have Dapila Seydou Kletos, who is the Member of Parliament for Jirapa in the Upper West region, join us. We'll also have as well with us Kwame Prempeh, former Deputy CEO, Public Procurement Authority. He is with the MPP. He'll be joining us as well as Kwame Nkrumah Bochio, private legal practitioner, just to help us understand and break down the legal issues regarding Sedina Tamaklo, the former boss of Maslock, coming in, and what next steps the country needs to take in order to ensure that she's able to serve her 10-year jail term. Once again, my name is Beatrice Edu, and welcome to the show, but welcome to this morning segment as well.
Love a deep run at this year's competition.
Lines are actually activated already. I did tell you we'll be having conversations on this, but we do have our first caller before we have the in-studio conversations. Peter T joins us on the line. Peter T, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Peter T, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Beatrice, I can hear you well.
Excellent. Congratulations.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Congratulations to us.
Congratulations to you. How are you feeling? What is your mood this morning?
It's all right. Yes. How about yours?
I cannot see that happiness reflecting your face at all.
You can't, eh? But go ahead.
A big smiling face.
Go ahead and share your thoughts with us on the performance of the Black Stars.
Anyway, congratulations once again, my brother. And congratulations to everybody, Alaji Yaokundo, Alaji Mahdi, Mr. Emmanuel Ashalitete, and everybody who contributed his or her quota for this to happen yesterday. Because it is under expectation. Nobody was expecting that this match could have gone such a trail and such a winning, trail. And look at the time that the goal came. You see that the intervention of God is so much mysterious in a way that man cannot judge, man cannot criticize, man cannot make any decision against a decision that has been taken by the Almighty God. And this is what has happened. People yesterday were thinking, I don't know what Ghanaians are. When you play into some people's mind, their mind was that, yes, the Blaster was going to win, some Blaster was going to lose. What for? But let's give the thanks and praise to Allah that He has done it. And the next match, please, I think that, Beatrice, one thing that we have never seen before is what happened yesterday. It's always tough for Ghana Blaster. The beginning of their match, especially the first match, it is always a test ground. It is difficult for Blaster to win. But yesterday it has happened. It means that there is some package in this World Cup for Blaster. Let us all pray and follow the trade and make sure that England, the next match, something more mysterious is going to happen. Ose Blaster, Ose Ghana, Ose President Mahama, Ose NDC, Ose Government of Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter T. And yes, we're all excited this morning. I'm sure you saw the Vice President as well and the coach. But we do have Baba on the line with us. Good morning to you, Baba. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations to us.
Thank you, my sister. Congratulations to all.
Yes.
All the Ghanaians. And I tell you, you are the papa. The budget that then in the last there. You have your support. You have that thing in nature. You have to ask there. Miami, other men, football or your training, they able draw another able lose. Number one in India, we need the elbow players, but Ghana, you think the madano, community about all in there. But in the future, she will be able to young there or a football home. We need the you players in 2 match. If you are done out there, what you are seeing in your time. The whole Ghanaian, you are young from ball, you need your support your players. The end of the day, you're putting your qualify, you make this year, a big seed that your players washing and man in the
Thank you so much, Baba. In summary, he was saying that everyone is very happy and we should all support the Black Stars just so that we'll keep this trajectory, as it were. And congratulations to all of us. We do have Collins on the line. Good morning to you, Collins. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Beatrice, yes. How are you?
Doing very well. How are you?
By the grace of God Almighty.
You cannot not be doing well a day after Black Stars.
Let me greet your cherished listeners this morning and the host of Accra 100.5, Nana Usudako, vying for that Deputy National Communication Officer and Akusi Minister and Kodu Dankwa. Yesterday, Ghanaians showed that, yes, our boys are on track. We are very more than happy. Yes, Ghana Blaster is back. Though Ghana, we won't take this as politics. Yes, before God, the man back, you can see yesterday, across Ghana, everywhere it is. I'm telling you that, yes, NDC and President Mahama and Ghana Black Star is back on track. Yes, everywhere. For the past, in Ghana, like today, yesterday, for instance, nobody, you won't even see or smile that Ghana is going to play a big tournament like this. I can tell you, everywhere.
Okay. But
on your television, on TV, and everywhere, Ghana is now moving to a better. And we pray for them for our next match, that is Tuesday, that we will surely beat England at the same 1-0 or 2-0. God bless you this morning.
All right. So was it good or bad, in your opinion, our performance?
No.
Okay. Let's go to the water region now. We do have another caller joining us. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the This Morning segment on Newday on TV3. Please tell us your name and your own assessments of the performance.
My name is Wanda Domi Akbonochi from Akbozume, Bukaroje.
I'm sorry, I missed the name. Walter.
Wanda Domi Akbonochi from Bukaroje.
Yes, sir. Please give us your assessment of our performance last night. Good or bad?
Yeah, it was massive. Though we are not expecting the last minute goal, but we thank God for that. We thank God for that. But my problem is, we are Ghana's playing ball, and none of the stations are showing the ball.
Hello, Wanda. I'm sorry, there's a lot of noise in your background. If you're able to move, just...
I was telling that Ghana is playing ball, and none of our stations are showing the ball. It's our problem. You see, what is the time they played the match yesterday? At midnight, we were there waiting to watch the ball, and none of the stations are showing the ball. What is going on? The whole Ghana.
I'm sorry.
It's disturbing us. People should do something about it.
All right.
That's the only problem that I have.
All right. Wanda, thank you so much for calling us from the Water region. We do have another person joining us from the University of Ghana, Legon campus. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell us your name.
Good morning. My name is Langbong Bimi. I'm calling from University of Ghana campus.
Yes, sir. Please give us your assessment of the game last night.
Oh, my assessment, I'm not making an answer booklet, but I just want to say thank you to the players and the management team. There are two things I want to mention. One, did you see the way the person who picked the ball and passed it into the 80-yard box? Not even Usain Bolt could have sprinted with him. That shows the level of commitment, and that's what we want Ghanaians to do. And secondly, did you see the show our vice president did? That alone is a moral booster. So I just want to say thank you, Ghanaians. Let's pray for the boy. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your thoughts with us. I do have in the studio with us this morning the Ghana Sports Fund Administrator, Dr. David Kofi Waku. Good morning to you, Doc. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Of course, I do have as well with us Professor Emmanuel Osei Sapon, and he is in charge of the development of our sports. Getting your, so he is actually the National Coordinator, Schools and Grassroots Sports Secretariat with the Ministry of Sport and Recreation. Prof, good morning to you. Thank you as well for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Perhaps I can start with you. What's your own assessment from where you sit of our performance last night?
Well, I think that before I say anything, I say a very big thank you to you for the opportunity this morning. Speaking from the technical point of view, I think that the boys actually were tactically disciplined. They went into the match with the mindset that football is played in 90 minutes, play according to your strength, exploit the opportunities, and I think that was what they did technically for me.
For those who may not be too impressed with the 1-0, because Panama, this is their second time showing at the World Cup, their first in 2018, they were beaten miserably, and they meet a strong team. In this context, as the Black Stars, you're okay with the 1-0 against Panama?
Yeah, I think so, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is winning the 3 points. I mean, Croatia was runners-up, I think, in 2014 or 2018. But yesterday, they were walloped 4-2. And so if we are stopping today, Ghana is in second position and we have qualified. So whether 1-0 or whatever, for me, I think the most important thing was the win.
And I'll come back to you to get more on your core role, which is developing our grassroots, just so we remain strong and significant in this area. But Mr. Woko, your own assessment of the team last night.
Okay, sure. Like Prof said and all other people are saying, I think in the first place, good morning to all of you, and also want to thank Ghanaians for their support for the Ghana Black Star yesterday. You see, football and other games, the beauty of it is that it is not marked like mathematics when you have to check the formula and how you get to your result. The end result is the concluding factor. We have the 3 points. Our boys have done well. Ghana is happy. Africa is happy. We lifted the flag of Ghana once again. We have won the match, and we'll be going progressively like that till we get a cup.
Yeah, I mean, Professor Osei-Sapong, we can only remain relevant on the international front if we are able to identify who is within our grassroots and develop them properly. How would you say that is going at the moment?
Well, I think that when the NDC government came to power, they saw sports not only as entertainment, but something that is very important in developing our economy, producing a lot of goodies into our GDP. And that was why, if you look at currently, the sports ministry has been restructured, even the name has changed. I think that even bringing the Ghana Sports Fund in itself is a big deal.
Which Dr. Woko will talk about.
And for me, one significant thing I can say is that sports is something that is a system. And the system begins from somewhere and ends somewhere. So if a government decides that they are going to look at a link that will coordinate activities at the base to ensure that there is transition from the base to elite, that is great. And so for me, the grassroots sport, schools and grassroots sports has come as the link between amateur and elite sports. Because if you go to most schools, you realize that they do sports, they participate, communities play galas here and there, but we don't have any system in place to actually identify the talents and also find a way of honing the talent and making them become bigger.
Tell us what kind of structure currently is in such that people with the talent Is that a sort of thing that we are going to see from your office as well?
That
level of transparency?
Maybe more than what you can imagine, yes. We will be very transparent. From my background, I know the only thing you can be trusted for in financial institution is your credibility. That is all you have. The moment you lose it, you are in big trouble. So we will be very, very transparent. We will showcase. The evidence will show, like I mentioned, when you are seeing things, you are seeing people develop, you are seeing stadiums all over, you are seeing grassroots sport developing. We are working together. And you see great things happening in this country. Nobody will tell you that your money is not going to the right places or the right use for which it is intended to be.
Professor Sosesapon, we just heard Dr. Waku saying that you're working together, meaning with your office. How are you doing that from your side so that you find the talent and they are alerted that we need the money?
Well, I think at this point, I want to say thank you to Dr. Waku for the opportunity. Even before he sets up, he's asked me to come and join him, do some kind of training where he wants his staff to understand the nature of sports in terms of technical, so that will guide them to know where investments can be made. And so as we speak now, we are working together in the sense that if a stadium is built, it is going to develop sports from the grassroots. And once there's that understanding that before anything can be developed, specific systems are required, but finance plays a key role, I believe that is how the working in tandem has been. And so as we speak from here, we are going back to his office to do the training to ensure that people from financial background, for example, who are managing the fund, understand the technicalities of sports, the systemic things they have to put in place to ensure that funds are disbursed according to specific formulae. For example, we cannot say we are funding all the sports the same, because each sport has a potential. Ghana is playing in the World Cup. How much is that bringing to the Ghana's economy? And so if you are funding football, are we getting returns? What are the things we are supposed to put in so that football will grow? If you want to fund, let's say, handball, what is the potential of handball? And so how much is it bringing to the economy? So when you look at this and we categorize sports according to potential, definitely the investments will be made and everywhere will be developed so that people will not think that it is only football, but all others.
You've partially answered my next question, but I'll still ask anyway. Okay. You've just categorized it very nicely, but looking at the current nature of our sport, which aspect do you think needs serious development now and needs a priority beyond football?
Well, sports funding should not be event specific. It should be systemic. Like Doc said, if you want to fund sports, there are categories because sports itself is a system. That system is made up of infrastructure. That system is made up of talent identification. That system is made up of technical officials. That system is made up of even other officials. So if we are watching sports and we see a talent and there's no opportunity for that talent to be developed because we don't have coaches who are highly technical, that opportunity of improving on that person's lot will not be there. And so if there's a talent and we cannot have facility to hone that person's skill, where have you gone to?
Let me ask you this question that I believe Dr. Waku can also answer briefly. Because we're running out of time, but we know that sports now is not just about physics. It's also about your intellectual capacity to be able to learn the tactics and all of that. Do you have scholarships, for instance, in mind that would help people train mentally so they are developed 360, as it were?
Yeah, for example, yesterday when the Ghanaian coach was asked how we were able to beat Panama, He said that we won the game with intelligence. And sports actually is mathematics. It uses a formula. You look at the opponent, but if you don't have the training, it will be difficult. And so if we want to develop sports, like I said, the whole ecosystem should be developed. Players, coaches, facilities. And when it comes to coaches, one aspect is the psychological aspect, because research has shown that that is the most difficult portion, and that is where mostly we ignore. And so the training of coaches, the training of athletes. I think recently, 3 students from Ashanti region were given some scholarship to go to Kenya and train for a week. And these are some of the things Dr. Waku has promised, that once we get the talents, the outfit is ready to ensure that these talents are given the needed support. And so for me, that is very key.
What have you got to add on that?
Yes, to add on that, to say clearly that sports fan is the game changer. Sports fan is going to change all aspects of sport we are talking about. One aspect we don't even mention is the welfare of the staff or of the sportsmen. You can see clearly that even in the matches that have been played, some players are being very careful because their life depends on their leg. If anything happens now, what is the system in place to take care of that? So, sports fan.
Like Kudus?
Okay, and many more. So, we really planning to put a welfare system, a well-structured welfare system that takes care of all sportsmen. You mentioned about development of, let's say, education or intellect. Yes, yesterday I was having a meeting with a man who walked into my office, and the child is playing lawn tennis just in GHS, and this girl could go to the highest level. And the evidence was that in other parts of the world, this kind of people, you don't even send them to the normal school stream. You have private education for them at home. And these are systems we put in place that will take care of all that talents identified like that should have a private studies at home or in a very excluded places, so she can have long time to train as a sports person and come to that. So sports fan, we have come to bring the change of developing sports for sport to become part of our development system.
And a number of you have sent in your messages. I'll read some of them and I'll take the final words of our guests. This is coming from Mr. Simon Yenwa in the Upper West Region. He says, good morning, Beatrice. I say bravo to our gallant Black Stars. Yesterday, I indicated that with or without Thomas Partey, Ghana would triumph over Panama. Shame on Canada. And Aziz Donla says the Black Stars didn't only demonstrate their ability and resilience to connecting the dots in this tournament, but also showed their determination towards resolving the lost hope within citizens. A number of you have sent in your messages. I'll try and read them quite later, but thank you for sending in your messages. 30 seconds from you, your final word, and I'll take the same from you as well, Doc.
Well, I think that at this point, what I would say is that sports is a system. Funding is key. But we believe that with the collaboration we have had so far as grassroots sports and the sports fund, we believe that Ghana sports is going to be the next big thing, because I have the hope we are going to put structures in place that will overhaul the way we see sports.
Dr. Wako.
Yes, okay. Finally, I also want to say that, see the beautiful dance our VIP, our Vice President, gave yesterday. It's a high-level morale booster.
Yes.
So do I want and call upon all corporate Ghana, calling upon the President, all people in authority to support sports fund, Ghana sports fund, so we can build a system of resilience, sustainable way of funding sport for sport development in Ghana. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you too for coming. And that was Dr. David Kofi Wako. He is the Ghana Sports Fund Administrator. Of course, we've had with us as well Professor Emmanuel Osei-Sapon, who is the National Coordinator, Schools and Grassroots Sports Secretariat, Ministry of Sport and Recreation. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us in studio and for helping us understand that there are structures being put in place for our sport to remain relevant. Well, pick up your day the Milky Way with a rich, smooth taste of Peck Milk Shortcake. It is just pure delight, and you can find them in all grocery shops around you, in and out of your community. When we come back, we'll bring you the big issue and some more. Do stay with us. the remaining debt, as it were, for the Afari Military Hospital to be completed is around $85 million. And the minority says that is not the case. It's left with just $500,000. We'll be looking into that and really what is left for us to complete, really, the Afari Military Hospital in order to operationalize it for a facility that was started under the Kufuor administration from 2008 up until now. Many people are asking why the 500-bed hospital is currently not in operation. We'll be looking into that. We'll also look into the report coming in that although the former boss of Maslok, Sadina Tamakula Tionu, has arrived in the country. She did on the 9th of this month to serve her 10-year jail term. Apparently, she's under house arrest. What does it take legally and administratively to ensure that she goes straight to serving her 10-year jail term? But ahead of that, let's talk about the Black Stars because the team performed well per the analysis of people that we've spoken to and scored Panama 1-0 in Canada. And this is a team that has had such an interesting history in terms of football, 4-time AFCON champions, and the 2026 is their 5th appearance at the World Cup. And so the expectations are high. But before we go into that, let me introduce my panel to you this morning. I do have on my immediate right, Mr. Kwame Prempeh, former Deputy CEO, Public Procurement Authority. He is with the NPP. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, B.
Next to
Thank you for having me.
Next to him is the Member of Parliament for Jirapa in the Upper West Region, the Honourable Dapila Seydou Cletus. Or Cletus, Dapila Seydou. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, too.
Of course, I do have as well with us on my extreme right, Mr. Kwame Nkrumah Bochu, private legal practitioner. It's great to have you as well. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my sister. Good to be here.
Perhaps I can start with you. You and Mr. Prempeh are in the same Black Stars jersey. Tell us your own assessment of the performance of the team last night.
I expected them to win. In fact, I even predicted on another show that it will be 2-0 in the first half.
Okay.
And it will be held to the end. So it was expected. I knew they would win. I believe in the team, and I believe they will bring the cup. Even though I did not watch.
They'll bring the cup?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and you can see that Ghanaians have really stepped up their support. Yesterday was a sea of yellow and white everywhere. It was really touching. Let's keep up the support. Let's even increase it because the boys are good, but they need our love and they need our support.
And the Vice President was there?
Yes. They did a good job, but I didn't watch the match.
Okay.
Because, you know, I get a bit anxious when I'm watching I'm watching Ghana matches, so I did not watch the match, but I knew they would win.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew they would win, yes.
Honourable Cletus Dapila.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Good morning to my colleagues on this platform, yourself and your distinguished viewers. I just want to say that football is the passion of the nation. Football is the only game that unites the country, and I'm happy. I noticed since before yesterday and even yesterday from morning till 11 p.m., the euphoria, the joy, the gelling relationship, how people, you know, the love shown to the Black Stars was massive. And I want to commend Ghanaians for, you know, coming together to once again demonstrate to the world that we are one people and we are actually one people. So what happened yesterday, let me commend the coach because this is a new coach. He just took over, you know, the boys not quite long after the other one was shown the exit. And I think he did well, particularly the injury time, the few changes, or before the injury time, the few substitution or changes that he did actually, you know, did the magic. And kudos to the guy who actually crossed, you know, who sent in the cross, and then Caleb was able to score. I think I commend the guy. Let's praise the guy. He did so well. He did so. He wasn't selfish. He knew he couldn't score, and he actually did what he was supposed to do.
I think a lot of people have been expecting that.
That's teamwork. Football is a teamwork. You must not be the one to score, but once you score, all of you, get the name. And I'm happy that he wasn't selfish. He demonstrated, patriotism by, giving it to the right person at the right time. And the guy also didn't disappoint us. He just touched it once, and that was it. And the whole country was high, in euphoria. Everybody was, in fact, the vice president, I didn't know how she did it, but you could see the joy in her. You could see the Ghanaian in her. You could see the laugh that she demonstrated. She jumped, and before she was like, wow, we did it. The boys did it, blah, blah, blah. Kudos to the team. We expect more from them in their next game.
But as compared to the Black Stars, I mean, this is our 5th appearance. Panama is their 2nd, having appeared first in 2018. We just heard him there saying that he was expecting like a 3-0. Did you expect more than the 1-0?
No. Me, Ghana, usually we don't score much. Sometimes draw 1-0. But even many people also observe that many of our World Cup opening games, we usually, don't win. But at least this one we won. So we can only expect more from them. Let's demonstrate the spirit of love. Let's show them that we are standing by them. And the Black Stars, the coach, the technical team, the Minister of Sports, whatever that Ghana needs or government needs to support them, to motivate them to keep doing their best, government should be able to do that so that at least they will make Ghana proud or Africa proud. Maybe we may surprise the world. By being the first African country to bring the cup.
I like the fact that the hopes are high, but let me get your thoughts as well, Mr. Prempeh.
Good morning once again to your cherished viewers, and also to you and my co-panelists and everybody in the studio. Again, I bring you warm greetings from His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to everybody, to all Ghanaians. Yesterday, it was flip-flop. The performance was not good enough, honestly. Yes, I know Panama, though this is their 2nd World Cup. They have not had a single point at the World Cup before. The last World Cup, they conceded 11 goals. They scored 2. One of them was, I think, an own goal by Tunisia or something like that. So their World Cup record is not that great. It's very poor. However, with that said, leading up to the World Cup, they did a very, good job in qualification. I think they conceded only 5 goals, in the entire qualification. So they have a very good and solid defense. But their players compared to our players are not that, world class. Our players play in higher leagues than their players. And we also have, a World Cup experience as well. Unfortunately, I think their players have been together longer than our players have been. We keep changing, players here and there. And I think we even have new people that joined that were not part of the qualification. I think theirs is a bit different. So they have a solid squad and they gel better than we do. And you could see yesterday, it was difficult for us to string together, more than 5 passes at the goal. But what I saw is that you see that the will is there. And you see that the coach has impacted something on them and they're trying to execute. However, the execution was not that great. So hopefully after this first game, they've had a taste of the World Cup. And let's see how it goes. I mean, England is an excellent team.
A strong team.
And going by how they played against Croatia, who is also a very good, good team, especially in tournaments. Croatia have been in I think, the World Cup 6 times. Out of the 6 times, they've been in final once and they've been semi-final twice. So Croatia is also not, a small nut to crack. So it's good that we won this game. We had to win this game. It's a game we had to win. It was not pretty. I must admit, but in the end, we have the 3 points in the bag, and that is what is important at the moment. But if you are to go by the performance, I think a lot needs to change. But going by the changes that the coach introduced in the second half, which was better than the first half, I mean, he's a very experienced coach. So I can see that he's working in the background. He's trying to put things together. So it's up for the boys to execute his ideas and what he brings on board. So we have the 3 points in the bag, which is perfect, and I think the 3rd team, there's a chance of also qualifying when you are 3rd. And with 3 points, we make a great chance of going to the next round, and that's what is important at the moment. You know, so kudos to the boys. You know, we are in full support. We are
and I can see
them.
your Ghana flag.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Every time they play, we will be in the full regalia. So we are in full support. And we hope they go as far as they can go. Winning it, I think, will be very, very difficult. We have to be honest to ourselves. You know, but let's go as far as we can go, and let's see what comes out of the World Cup.
I mean, let me get your final thoughts on this now. I'll give you the same opportunity as well. Looking at the fact that we've got 3 points, giving us a strong footing, really moving forward. England is a very strong team. What do you expect?
I mean, it will be difficult to even get a draw against England, to be honest. It's a very solid team. They have world-class players, you know. And you see, you know, if you have a team with world-class players, you know, you can organize yourself against them, but some individual brilliance can change everything. And they have the people in their squad that can do that. And that is the danger. So even if we organize ourselves well, we set a good block, we play against them well, they have brilliant players. They have Kane, they have Saka, you know, they have Bellingham. They have brilliant players who can make a difference. If you see the goal that Bellingham scored, I mean, that's a wonderful, wonderful goal. So that is a fear. But we will do the best that we can. I know the boys will put in the best that they can. And, I mean, if we get a draw, perfect. If we win, of course, you know. But if we must lose, we should try not to make it embarrassing.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I can say about it.
Mr. Bochu?
I think we'll win against England.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, football, aside your ranking aside the FIFA rankings and everything, there's also this psychological aspect, the team morale, and it has a lot to do with the condition in the country. And I think at the moment there's a lot of unity around. It's not that things are perfect, but with all that is going on in South Africa and all that, it seems we are united as one. I couldn't say the same for England. They're having a lot of issues with this recent boys' medal, Novak's medal, and the issues about they being criticized by the US for not participating in the Iran issue and all that. Morale is quite low in England, and I don't think, as much as they have die-hard supporters who watch every game, go to every game, I don't think the team is as up there as the Ghana team. The Ghana team knows we are behind them. And let's even go further. I'm convinced that we will beat England. The margin may not be that large, but I believe we'll beat them.
Yes, Dapila, your final thought on this one?
Well, I just will wish the team the best of luck.
You don't want to stick your neck out?
Oh, yeah. You know, Ghanaians, mostly when the Black Stars are playing, most people are always sitting on their tenterhooks. Usually, that is the norm. Many people you see, oh, have you eaten? You have to eat. Or if not, after this game, you won't be able to eat. I hear stories like that. You understand? So, but let's really, you know, give the support. Let's do whatever we can do. In fact, let me say, the president also did a good job. He's called the coach personally on his phone and spoke to him, encouraged him, and told the coach whatever that they need, any assistance they need, he should be rest assured that the country will provide. In fact, that one alone is something that both the technical team and the players should, you know, take to heart and die once for this country. They should do it for us. That's just what I can say. But I know we will make it.
I've been hearing whatever they need. I hope we don't have another, Brazil 2014.
No. We've gone beyond that. We've gone beyond that.
Indeed. And I want us to move to the Afari Military Hospital because, as you're aware, over the last few days, we've had a lot of conversations on it with a minority raising questions about why the government has not completed and eventually operationalized this military hospital, which has been on since 2008, and also the claim that the amount left in terms of how much to pay is not $85 million, but also $500,000. And we've also had a former presidential aspirant, actually, of the New Patriotic Party, Kennedy Ejapon, also talking about this. He claimed that the MPP under the Akufo-Addo 8 years government didn't do anything about it, so shouldn't be putting unnecessary pressure on the current government. We'll be going to the Ashanti region to speak to correspondent William Evans Income to bring us an update on it. But first, let's watch Kennedy Ejapon and exactly what he said regarding this Afari military hospital issue.
When we decided to go and inspect Afari, they stopped us. We didn't go. So I heard somebody talking 15 months. Has Afari hospital been there for 15 months? We were there for 8 years. You didn't do it. Don't blink your eye. See, we are not doing politics. I'm speaking the truth. This is Ghana. Stop that. We will criticize NBC, we will criticize MPP. That's the only way to go. I was chairman. NBC started this. Why didn't you complete it? You were there for 8 years, you didn't complete it. When somebody comes for 15 months, then you have a problem. Please, give me a break. Ghana, we should love our nation and stop playing politics with everything and do the right thing for the country. And that is what I'm doing. You see, when I mentioned MPP, he was blinking his eye. Why do you want me to criticize NDC and leave MPP? When I know that both parties, they didn't do the right thing for the country.
And you just watched there Kennedy Ohene Ejapon. He's a former presidential aspirant of the New Patriotic Party. Let me bring you some information on this, remind you really, before we go to William Evans Income. This is a 500-bed capacity, hospital, and it was started by the Kufuor administration in 2008. Original contract signed for $180 million. And we know that although it was signed by or started from the Kufuor administration, the construction itself started in the first Mahama administration in 2014, and we know that per what reports that we are getting, the Akufo-Addo government took over it from 2017. We understand, based on reports, that when the Akufo-Addo government came into office, it was around 40% completion, and they took it to 97 completion up until the project was handed over to the now second term of the Mahama administration. And even in 2017, when the Akufo-Addo government started working on it, and an additional $19.3 million was given to the contractor for contract variations after delays between 2009 and 2017, and another $2.5 out of $3 million was also released, supposed to have been the final tranche as well. And of course, the current controversy surrounding what the ministry is saying about what needs to be done in terms of payment, $85 million, but the minority saying that that is not the case and accusing the government of wanting to create loot and share. But I did say that we'll be going to my colleague in the Ashanti region, William Evans Income, who's been visiting this facility in the last few days to bring us an update. William, if you can hear me. What we are hearing now, based on reports, is that the Afari Military Hospital is 98% complete. Tell us, when we talk about 98% complete, the 2%, what does it consist of before the hospital we can say is completed for it to be operationalized?
Beatrice. So we are looking at phases, and interestingly, in the previous administration, 2024, I went there. I had the real opportunity of visiting the site with the deputy defense minister. That was a private visit. But prior to that, in 2016, I also had another opportunity of visiting the site with the then president, now president again, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So in 2016, he toured the site, I think when he was embarking on a campaign, to also understand the rate of work. Civil engineering work, as far as the site was concerned, was far advanced. Just after a year of cutting sword and commencing work, civil engineering work at the time was far advanced. Then in 2024, when I also went there with the deputy defense minister, I quite remember the only thing that was left, and This was a subcontractor who was talking to the Deputy Defense Minister was sewage. And I also remember he telling me that, well, the contractor had quoted some $36 million, and they were looking forward to negotiating it down to a little over 18-point-something million. Trust me, I don't know what happened afterwards. As far as that piece of information relayed to me at that time was concerned. But back to the question of at what rate, looking at these banter, well, Beatrice, of course, I mean, from the optics, I am not an engineering, so I wouldn't be able to, tell confidently as to, what level this particular project has got into. But for in terms of face value, I can say that in terms of erecting of structures, and then, doing, painting and all of that, well, that if you are putting 90% or 97% to it, maybe you say that yes. But when it comes to the installation or purchasing and installation of medical equipment, I'm not too sure where the project has got into. Mind you, this is a 10-key project. So we're not looking, if you're talking about completion, we are not looking only at erection of structures, and of course, building of physical structures, but we're also looking at purchasing and installation of medical equipment. I am unable to tell whether those that aspect has been executed as far as the project is concerned, and that is making it very difficult for me to say or confirm the rate of percentage as far as the project is concerned.
So let me ask you my last question, perhaps before I come to the panel in studio here. What I meant by what is consisted or what is included in the 2%, I was asking you about what you've been told, what is lacking, which is making it impossible for the hospital to be operationalized at this stage. And again, you've been to the facility as well. Looking at it, do you believe, and based on the information you've been given, that the government needs to spend extra money, because this is a facility that's, stressed through a lot of government even up until now before it is revived for it to work?
As of 2024, per my last visit with the Deputy Defense Minister, I heard that the only thing that was left was sewage from a subcontractor, and that he was not even talking about funding, but he was talking about putting certain things in place to ensure that that particular sewage system is fixed. And that was the only thing I heard him, in his conversation with the Deputy Defense Minister. So if that conversation is anything to go by, then you would say that shouldn't be a problem. But like I said, when it comes to the purchasing and installation of medical equipment in the hospital, I don't know whether that one has been done. And well, we all know that is also quite expensive. So I don't know whether that one has been done. I think the contractor will be in a better position to let us know whether those installations has been done. Because in all my visits, about 6 times I've visited that particular place, in all my visits to the Afari Hospital, I never had opportunity to inspect the rooms as to whether those installations or purchasing installations have been done. Beatrice.
All right, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much. William Evans Inkum, he's my colleague in the Ashanti region, and he's been monitoring this developing story for us regarding the Afari Military Hospital. But I'm coming to you, the Honorable Dapila. The argument of the MPP is that they handed over this facility to you in 2024 at 98% completion. So 15 or a little over 15 months after you came into government, why hasn't the completion been done and eventually operationalized?
Well, thank you once again for the opportunity to comment on this matter. I want to state here that the hospital construction work was actually started in 2014. So between 2014, 15, 16, that was 3 years, 3 years, the NDC did some 40% of the work done. So if the MPP is touting, assuming without admitting that they even did, they took it to 98%. Within what period? Within what period? If we use 3 years to do 40%, and they use 8 years to do probably the 58% that they want Ghanaians to tout them, that is hypocrisy. That's hypocritical. My sister, to add to this, one of the cardinal sins that the MPP government committed as far as this military hospital is concerned was to take away the tax waiver that was granted the contractor to enable them, bring in the hospital equipment. That was one of the cardinal sins they committed, and they are not telling Ghanaians they did that, to the fact that the contractor had to even appeal to the then Akufo-Addo government to reinstate the tax waiver to enable them clear the goods from the port. You understand? So when you see hospital equipment being rotten, or the state at which we see them in televisions or in the media, is so bad. When they took over, they scrapped the tax waiver that was given to the contractor to enable the contractor fast-track the work. That was one of the cardinal sins there. This is your stronghold. This is your stronghold. This is your backyard. So many people are asking questions. The questions many people are asking is that, what did you do for the Ashanti region? That is the basic questions that the NPP is struggling to answer. It is the reason they were punished in the 2024 elections. The Ashanti region, if you look at what the NDC got from that place, they punished them because they felt that they did not actually deliver as they promised the people. So now, if you hear Kennedy Ajapong, I've seen many people strolling him, the Baumia boys are on him for speaking the truth. What he stated, you see, is only a hypocrite. I have said that, look, the MPP, you've come into power. What you didn't do in 8 years, you expect a government that is just 1 year, a government that is 1 year, few months, to be able to do what you didn't do in 8 years.
But
that's hypocritical.
They are trolling him because he said the MPP didn't do anything about it. But if you look at the records,
no, you see, let me tell you something. When he said that, he said they didn't complete it. They didn't complete. They should have completed the project. You understand? If you were to interrogate Kennedy Ajapong, he will explain what he meant by they didn't complete it. What he meant by they didn't do anything about it. You see, this is a facility that is purported to be in your stronghold. So if somebody started the construction and lost power in 2016, that's probably just 3 years, and the person did some 40% of the work, then you came. I said the first thing they did was to scrap the tax waiver due the contractor. So it means that you were not prepared to complete the project. They were not prepared. You understand? Because they thought the NDC granted the tax waiver. So for that matter, probably. But these contractors, they've been around. They've been building many of our hospital facilities in this country. You understand? So it wasn't political. And they actually should not have done what they did. But once you've gone ahead to scrap the tax waiver meant for the contractor or the company, you should know that the project will struggle. The project will suffer. So 3 years, 40%, 8 years, 58%, and you want to be given some credit. No, that you can't get it.
One other thing coming up before I come to Mr. Prempeh is that the minority is accusing the government of trying to create loot and share by stating that you have about $85 million more to pay instead of 500,000 dollars.
You see, it's nobody. Look, in this country, we are in an era of accountability. Nobody can create loot and share as is used to happen previously, not under President John Dramani Mahama. Every appointee under this government is very careful about how state money is being spent. So for me, whatever money that they are going to use to complete this project, it will come to Parliament. We will approve the variations. Auditor General is there that will audit it. So I don't see what they are discussing or what they are saying now is premature ejaculation. What matters for me and the NDC now is that the project should be completed.
When?
If I'm coming, you are talking of the money. They are talking now, they are saying 500,000, some are saying $85 million. You are not in charge. You are not in charge. If you go to the facility now and you see the state of the facility, and they tell you that $500,000 can complete it, I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer, but I can tell you that it's not true. $500,000 cannot complete what we see on television. The place is in a mess. All the facilities they dump there are all now rotten. So you cannot go and still use them. You understand? So if you look on paper and what is left probably is $500,000, maybe variations and many of the many of the equipment are now rotten that they need to now even buy some and all of that. So what matters is that even if government will spend 100 million and operationalize the Afra military hospital, I'm in support of it. Is the second largest hospital facility if it is completed that will support, solve the health needs of this country. So I'm in for it, even if it's 100 million. What matters is that at the end of the day, there will be accountability. Nobody spend government money and go away scot-free. We are in an era of accountability, so everybody should know that the MPP should not be the ones to be lamenting about Afara Military Hospital. It's a missed opportunity for them. They should have completed it at least for the fact that it is even in their stronghold, even though all of us, wherever you come from, will all go to assess the facility. But once it's a project that was actually started in their stronghold, within the 8 years, they should have no reason not to have completed the facility. We should not come to the plan. We shouldn't have been here discussing Afara Military Hospital. We should not have. At least it's a missed opportunity for them. And they should stop trolling Kennedy Japan for telling them the truth. Kennedy Japan was chairman of Defense and Interior Committee, and he said that when they wanted to go there, he didn't say that when they and other committee chairmen wanted to go there, they stopped. He said when their committee wanted to go there, they stopped them from visiting the facility. He said it. He said when their committee wanted to go, they stopped them. He didn't say that other committees did not go there. So let's get his point right before we come to stroll him.
Mr. Prempeh, you're being accused, and you not being, personally, by the MPP and the minority, being accused by the Honorable Dakwila of hypocrisy and missed opportunity, because you had 8 years you could have completed the Afari military hospital, but you didn't.
Good morning once again. You're back again. You see, I think we have to put things in perspective, right? I have heard a lot of things being claimed by Honorable here, which are not factually correct, right? Now, what is the case? The case is this project was started in 2008, but let's be mindful, it is not the only project under Irrigate that was started in 2008. There were 9 projects that were started in 2008, which was inherited by NDC. From 2009 to 2016, not a single one was completed. None. Not one out of the 9. We are now concentrated on Irrigate projects. Out of the 9 projects that were started, that falls under the Irrigate. From 2009 to 2016, not a single one was completed out of the 9. Now, fast forward to 2024. 7 out of the 9 were totally completed, commissioned, and were working. And then you have the 2, which is the Afari, and one other. The Afari was 98% complete as of December 2024, which is confirmed by the NDC themselves when they came to power. The documents that was handed to them by the military leadership said it was 98% complete. And the one other was 68% complete when they came to office. So we are not only talking about Afari in isolation. It's a whole project of 9 hospitals. And out of the 9 hospitals, in 8 years, MPP completed 7 and brought one from 40% to 98% and the other one to 68%. In 8 years of NDC, President Mills and President Ahama, they completed none. None of them. This is the point that we are making. So let's not come and sit here and then try to play around with figures that NPP did nothing in 8 years. These are verifiable facts that everybody can verify, that the NDC themselves confirmed when they came to power.
But does it justify the fact that you still didn't complete it? You still left it at 98%?
It does not justify the fact. But the point is, government cannot complete everything. That is a fact. We cannot complete everything that we inherit. It's the same. You see, there are other hospital projects in Ashanti region apart from this irrigate. We've completed 6 projects in Ashanti region. And some of them started way back. Some of them even under Champon, that's when we started. And we have been able to complete in our 8 years. So we are not looking at one hospital project in isolation. Now, if we look at that one hospital project in isolation, right, this is project that from 40% has been able to grow to 98%. It's left with small things to operationalize. All the funds all the money that needs to be paid has been paid. And as your colleague was confirming, the amount of 30-something million that was, left, we were able to renegotiate it to around 18-point-something million, and then we've paid living 500,000. Your colleague confirmed in 2024.
Now you admit that government cannot complete anything. I mean everything.
No. Yeah,
government cannot complete everything in 8 years, but you expect the government of 15 months to complete this.
How much percentage is left? That's what we are talking about. And again, let's not look at things in isolation. When this government came, there were a lot of health projects, including Agenda 111, that were ongoing. But what is their priority? Their priority is, we are not going to continue with the 111, but we are going to build 271,
The government hasn't said that. The government says that it would. The claim of the government is that
the speed with which they are working on
the claim of the government is that you spent so much money and did not complete a single of the 111, and they are focusing on completing some of the 111.
It's not true that we didn't complete any of them.
None of them was operationalized.
But you see, when you complete a hospital, operationalizing, includes several things. Right, the hospital must be there. Everything will be in there. But if you don't have doctors, if you don't have nurses, if you don't have staff, you cannot use it. So if somebody is talking about operationalizing, the hospital is there. The facility is there. The equipment are inside. It's the matter of the government of the day to ensure that all the things that are left to operationalize it is done. That is not a matter of the government that is not in power anymore.
But Mr. Pepe, data shows that none of the hospitals was completed. So it would take the government to complete.
Operationalize is different from completion.
But none was completed. Any that you know that was completed?
Ofori was completed. You can go and visit it now. It was completed and needs operationalization. And there have been several visits by some of your colleagues who have confirmed the equipment are in there. It's a matter of operationalization. It's a matter of getting staff in there. It's a matter of at least walking the last mile and ensure that we can use the facility. But as a matter of completion, the hospital has been completed. And there are several projects in that category. So the point I am making is that yes, even if we take Afari in isolation, MPP almost completed it. It's a matter of this government prioritizing this and completing it. But there are other projects that we inherited, that we completed fully, that are working now. We have what? We have several of them. In Ashanti region alone, I can list about 6 projects that we completed, we inherited and completed, and that are working at the moment. We have Bekwai, we have Tepa, we have Konongo, Fomena, Kumewu, Sewa. These are all hospitals that are working as we speak now. So yes, we didn't complete everything. And I said, no government is expected to complete everything. You can't.
You had the honorable
government is continuing. Now let me come to the tax waiver
issue
that's
what I was
Honorable
going
talking
to.
about.
Yes.
That is a complete falsehood. When we came into power, there were certain directives that were issued by the Minister of Finance in terms of tax waivers. And it wasn't only the Afari or only the irrigates that was affected. It was a general directive that affected all tax waivers. And this issue was resolved. It was resolved and they were able to clear everything. So what are we sitting here talking about that this was resolved? In 2022, the tax waiver law came into being, and as we speak now, it was resolved. So what are we talking here? Saying, okay, they had a tax waiver issue. They had a tax waiver, please. They have a tax waiver issue in 2017. That means that was the reason why they were not able to complete the hospital. That's a complete falsehood. It's a complete falsehood. But the fact remains is that we inherited 9 projects. 9 projects from the irrigate. Out of the 9 projects, They were all started or initiated in 2008. From 2009 to 2016, NDC completed none, not a single one, in the 8 years that they were in power. In the 8 years that we came, we completed 7 out of the 9.
Now
and the 2 that were left, one is 98%, one is 68%, when we left power. So we can't come and sit here and then act as if NPP did nothing.
Now, on the issue of the amount of money involved right now, which is one of the things that a number of people are talking about, the Honorable Dapila is disagreeing with the fact that it would take about $500,000 to complete this project because due to the delay of this project, of course, construction in 2014, up until now, a number of the equipment in there probably may not be good enough to use, and the government would need to spend more than the amount you're quoting. How do you respond to that?
We shouldn't sit here making wild assumptions, right? When this MPP was leaving power, the amount of the, certificates and the discussions that had gone on, the payment that was made, what was left to be paid to the contractor was $500,000.
That was what was in the 2024 report?
Yes, that was in the report. Now, if anything has changed within the 18 months that NDC has been in power, they should let us know what has changed. We shouldn't come and sit here and say that, yes, when I went there were bushes, there were this. Your colleague even said he has not gone inside. But here is Honorable sitting here that the equipment are rusted. Based on what? Is he saying the equipment
Have we
are
asked
rusted?
whether he's visited and seen it?
Have you seen the equipment that were rusted? Based on what? And let me also emphasize that when you say you have paid a contractor an X amount without any further details, it is not implying that it's only for the work that has been done already. It can also imply for some work that needs to be completed. You get the point I'm making? So let's not sit here and make wild assumptions and say we will need from 500,000. We are now made to believe that equipment are so rotten, they're so decayed, that we need $85 million.
He's given assurance.
How does it make any sense?
He's given assurance.
The whole project was 180 million, and then due to the changes in locations and all that, a variation came, and then the variation was less than $20 million. Now you are sitting here that because the equipment has been left to rot, within 18 months, we have to pay $85 million.
The assurance he's giving is that this is a period of accountability, and so whatever amount of money that is being quoted, you should be sure that there will be accountability.
Accountability of what? I mean, we have to be realistic, and sometimes we have to use logic. Right? You can't tell me that a facility that costs $180 million to put up and a variation of less than 20 million. So you put everything together, we are talking about less than 200 million, which is 98% complete. And you are sitting here telling me you need $85 million to complete it because after the 98%, there was some equipment that has been rusted. How does it make any sense? How is it logical to any sensible person listening to us this morning? Let's be realistic.
Ms. Nkrumah Bochio, let me get your thought on what's going on. I mean, again, like I said, the project was signed in 2008, $180 million, and the real work started 2014. And up till now, it is still not completed for Ghanaians who need the services from this facility to enjoy.
In all honesty, I think both the NDC and MPP are making a mockery of Ghanaians. You see, if you are going to look at this critically, and from my research, both the MPP government and NDC government, prima facie, are guilty of willfully causing financial loss to the states. The original contract amount was $180 million. Because of change of location issues, we incurred an additional unnecessary amount of $19.3 million. Who's going to account for that? And as at 22nd October 2016, one of the contractors at the site was on air saying that the project is 90% complete. That's
as at 2016?
2016, 22nd October 2016, that it is 90% complete. And then we have Dr. Nsiasare, when the issue came up again, saying that as at 2024, it was 96 to 97% complete.
Then Presidential Advisor on Health.
Yes, and was going to be opened in March 2025, which means that NPP did only about an extra 6 or 7% in addition. You see, but let's admit that there are so many projects, as he said, you cannot complete everything. And then there was an extra 6.5 million or so demanded, which they negotiated down to 3 million and paid 2.5 million. Meaning that the money that has been paid on the project so far is 202,500,000. So if you look at the calculations, NPP may be right that there's a balance of 500,000 left. Maybe, based on 2% left. But Dr. Nsiasari says 96 to 97%. So the percentage left is even in doubt, you see. But if you're going to look at this 202 million, 250 or 500, yes. If you're assuming that I'd even paid the $500,000, that means the total contract sum, we've incurred an additional 20.3 million, which wasn't necessary, you see. So if you're going to look at the average, if there is 2% left to be done, it shouldn't cost more than $4 million. If the entire 100% is $202,300,000, then the remaining 4% should not cost more than $4 million. So by saying $85 million, that means you are demanding an extra 42% of the total amount, unless there is an extension or something being carried out. If not, and this 85 million is approved, that means that NPP and NDC together have wasted $100 million plus. Because if this $85 million is added, then we are looking at about $290 million in the end, right from 180, which means about 110 unnecessarily. But however, maybe I have looking for sound bites of that $85 million. I haven't seen any. So at the moment, I think it may be an allegation, but I find it hard to believe how 2% of a project that costs $182 million balloons to $85 million, which is 42%.
Now, you opened your submission with the fact that both MPP and NDC have caused financial loss to the state.
Yes.
Are you calling for individuals who played a role in this entire project to be questioned with this very charge, as it were, in mind?
Exactly. And even Honorable Kennedy Japan's statements is evidence enough. It's evidence enough that they did nothing about it. People should be called to book. Because what we see now is, anytime there's a change in government, a few people are picked and prosecuted. But those amounts that the people are prosecuted for, this is also a large amount. People should be called to book. Why that $19.3 million? What caused that change?
It's a contract variation.
Ghanaians should know what was wrong with the original contract. And if there was a contract variation, why the 19.3? And even if that 19.3 was approved, then why did NPP, because NDC did 90% completion, which of course is quite appreciable. But why only 7%? That means that you left the place idle for 8 years, meaning that as for the decay, it's likely. With the rains and everything, things may have become moldy, and this is a hospital. The standard of hygiene should be at such a level that the drainage and everything, if not well done, you may have to break and do everything.
We heard William telling us about the last time, 2016, what was left was the drainage.
The drainage, yes. And it may seem like it's just drainage, but this is a hospital. This is not an ordinary place. Everything should be at the top level. You understand me? So I think this we should keep on interrogating this issue. This may actually be the game changer that will let both parties sit up. Admittedly, both parties have done a lot. I can't condemn them, say they haven't done anything. But you should let them take another look at how they approach projects. You don't just dump all the projects, I mean, on the table. Let's say, let's do a bit of this, let's do a bit of that. No, you don't do that, because this is Ghanaians' hard-earned taxes. Even if it's a loan, you are taking a loan in the name of Ghanaians who, at the end of the day, will not get a hospital bed when they are ill. Let
me come back to the Honourable Dapila and your response to what Mr. Prempeh said, that you're not being completely truthful with the tax waivers, and also the points being made by Mr. Bochu that actually both MPP and NDC.
What is my brother saying about the tax waiver? The tax waivers were taken off.
And
it's
the
a
fact that, and also the
you
fact,
understand? But I'm saying that, yes, look, let me tell you, the contractor.
The point being made by Mr. Bochu that actually both parties should be held accountable for financial losses.
I just want to put on record that the issue of the tax waiver that I stated here is nothing but the truth. Look, you don't get the company itself had to appeal to government to restore the tax waiver for them, to enable them to listen. It took time.
But
and the container, listen. So I'm now telling you that.
Finish,
do you know when that happened? Why do you say that? Time is of essence.
No, but you are sitting
at that time.
You are saying
Mr. Prempeh,
yes, it was taken away.
It was restored.
Mr. Prempeh, I'll come to you. Please.
I'm saying that you take it easy, my brother. Take it easy. This tax, at the time that the company had to cry loud for government to restore the tax waiver, their containers, they were bringing equipment and they were at the port. They could not clear them. And the mortgage, I don't know how to put it, but the containers or the equipment started deteriorating. That's the point that I want to make, that all of this delayed the job, delayed the project.
So now,
you understand? No, you don't come in. Let me also state that the project was started in 2014 and was supposed to be completed in 2018. You understand? I was supposed to be completed in 2018. Somebody did part of it. You came within 8 years. You did what you did. And look, they are not ashamed, the MPP, my brother. Just admit that you didn't do well. Your stronghold, a project in your stronghold, you failed to deliver. The people punish you. If you want to rewrite your wrongs, just apologize to the people. Because it's your stronghold. You were not able to help them. But at least when you get any opportunity again in the long future, you will not do that again. But don't come and sit here and want to blame the NDC for coming to power for just 1 year and some 5 months. No, that will not be fair. You won't be fair to the NDC. And Ghanaians will see that you are being hypocritical. That's the point that I'm making. As for the NDC MPP that my brother talked about, that all of us have to take some blame, I admit that all of us have to take some blame. But you see, one did few years on the project. The other did so many years on the project talking.
Does it justify that?
Yes.
Does it justify the fact that whether you spent a year or a month, you should still be held
accountable? But now, you know, if I use 2 years, if I use 1 year in farming, if I've been farming for 1 year and you have been someone, and you can't compare somebody who goes to work, you know, for 10 hours and another person go for 1 hour. If you want to compare, if you want to measure that, you won't be fair to the one who did 1 hour. That's the point that I want to make. Other than that, we all have some blame, and I admit that.
Let me come to you for your words, and
let me also add that the Upper West Regional Hospital, they didn't complete it. We completed the Upper West Regional Hospital before we left power. It's on record. You people should be fair. Give credit to where it belongs. We go to the record. The records are there. I'm from Upper West. I live in Wa. I'm from Jirapa. I live in Wa. And I'm telling you that the project was completed.
The project was completed in 2019.
No,
the
project, we completed the project before we left power.
Mr. Prempeh.
So you see, now let's be factual. You know, I think we owe it to Ghanaians and your viewers that when we come and sit here, we discuss things of national interest, that we are factual and we stick to the facts. You can do your politics and whatever that you want, right? But what is fact is fact. My honorable Leonard, lawyer was talking about NDC completed Afari 90%, which is not true. It was a false statement, a news report that was done in 2016, and it was corrected. And my honorable here has confirmed that it is 40%. So we shouldn't go back and take some false report that says it was 90%. It is reported and it is recorded that it was about 40% that was done in 2016 or 2017 when we took power. And we have voted 98%. Now, completion of projects, it is not something that, if you say 98%, it is not something fixed that you say, okay, it can be exactly 98%. That's why the, Honorable Insiasari was saying, between 97 and 98, thereabout. Right. So let's correct that fact. Now, let's also go back to the tax waiver. There was an issue with tax waiver. It was not targeted at Irrigate. It was a general directive that was issued by the Ministry of Finance that affected Irrigate. And when it was brought to the government's attention, by the end of the same 2017, it was resolved. So let's not come and sit here and bring in something that will resolve in that very same year.
The point he's making is that even if it was just a few months, it's still time was of the essence.
Beatrice, don't tell me a project that was started in 2008 and we have an issue with tax waiver.
The project actually started in 2014. The deal was signed in 2008.
The project was initiated in 2008. Let me finish. The project was initiated in 2008, right? Due to a lot of, decision making, it took more than 4 years to complete. And now let me then get to the variation part, right? There is almost no single project that has been done in Ghana here or anywhere in the world that there has been no variation, right? Variation happens, but the amount of variation will differ. Sometimes it can be very small. Sometimes there is even variation that reduces the amount of the project, depending on what you meet at the project site. Now, where and how did this variation come about? And the variation was not initiated under NPP. Let's be clear about that. Now, initially, they wanted to site the project in Kumasi. And then the military command decided, okay, we have 37, which needs, an upgrade. So why don't we bring this Irrigate project to 37? So then they decided to bring it to 37. Now, when they came to 37, the design of the project was more vertical, right? No, sorry, it was more horizontal because there were more space where they were going to, do it. So when it came to 37, there was no space to do that vertical, horizontal project here. So they changed the design to make it more horizontal.
But you don't agree with what he said. You don't agree with what he said that irrespective, we should find out what went into the 19.3. Why 19.3 million?
No, I'm saying how it came about. Of course, the military command is there. They have the documents, they have the records. And when this government came into power, they've received the briefing and they came to confirm that indeed the project is at this stage. So I don't think there's any dispute about the variation and how and what goes into it. Nobody has raised any dispute, including the military command and the current government and the previous government. But I'm trying to explain how variation can come about. There were design changes, there were location changes. It was then moved to Tamale. And then it came back to Kumasi, to Sofolai, and then from Sofolai, it was moved to Afari, where it is at the moment. So there were a lot of indecisions. And of course, they were doing all of that to get the best value for money for the country. So it wasn't that somebody was sitting there just happily, and it was done under NDC. Let me be factual about that. But I'm not saying they did it because they wanted to change it. They were looking for the best value for money we can get from that hospital for the military. And that is why all these changes came into being.
You don't think that's the reason?
To say that somebody must be held accountable and all that because just because there's variation?
Because you spent more than necessary, even in terms of money and in terms of the time of completion.
You spend on projects according to the bill of quantity and what we are going to do at that particular moment. If you decide that you are not going to stick to that particular, you see, and what I'm talking about is general. It is not MPP or NDC, because these changes, many of them happen under NDC. It's general thing that I'm discussing, right? You have a project, you have your bills of quantities, you have your objectives and everything, right? Along the line, the government and together with the military decide that it might be better to bring it to Accra, right? Because we have the 37 here, and 37 needs upgrade and all that. And in their wisdom, they decided they should bring it to Accra. And there were some design changes that was done by the contractor, which cost money. Then they decide everything is too centered in Accra. We also have military across the country. So let's move it to Kumasi so that we'll be centralized. And the military up north can also make use of it around the country. So they did that. And then they thought about, why not in the north? So let's move it to Kumasi. So there were a lot of decisions that were making to get the best out of the hospital for the military. This was a military project.
So for you, the decisions...
So if the decisions are made and then costs are incurred, what the government must do, of any project manager will do is that all these changes that have been made, am I going to get value from it?
Did we?
I mean, per what has been delivered. I don't have any other facts to say that we didn't get value for the project, that it was increased by 20 million or so thereabout. So the variation alone is not enough to say somebody must be held accountable. If accountability must be done, then it must start with those that took the decision to change the locations. But I don't think that is sufficient enough.
So you think that based on your submission, the decisions that we're taking, which is why we're where we are, were in the best interest of the country, and therefore there's no need to call for the prosecution of anybody for causing financial loss to the state?
I believe there is none. If it is based on the variation alone, I believe there is none. And I'm speaking from the procurement point of view, because there has been some justification that I've seen and read. And again, I haven't seen the nitty-gritty, the details of it. But what I've seen, the high level, the helicopter view, I don't think there's any cause for alarm. Of course, the 85 million, that is a red flag, as we have discussed here. And I don't think, and as my brother is saying, it seems to be rumors, because there have not been any official communication as to that effect. So maybe we can push that aside and then concentrate on that 500,000 that they can do. Now, let me also touch on the fact that we are talking about the stronghold of the MPP, right? Again, we shouldn't look at the Afari project in isolation. I have discussed the Irrigate project, and it was never true that the WA was completed before the NDC left office. WA was completed, initiated, and commissioned in 2019.
If you could be wrapping up for me so I can get your final words, and I'll move to the other
In
issue.
Ashanti region, we've completed 6 hospitals, including hospitals that have stood there for years and decades that MPP came to complete. So you cannot sit here and say MPP did not do anything in the Ashanti region.
And you're saying that those ones you completed are operationalized?
They are operationalized. They are working. Konongo is working. Bekwai is working. Tepa is working. Formula is working. All these hospitals that we have mentioned, the 6 of them, they are working. And we initiated more as well, which must be completed. So it is never the case that APP did not do anything in the Ashanti region. And it's not only in the Ashanti region. Across the country, we completed more projects. And you see, what is even more alarming is that from 2009 up to now that we are speaking, NDC has not completed a single hospital project in Ashanti.
And Mr. Dapila would have the opportunity to respond to that. But let me get your final word on this, Mr. Nkrumah Bochi, because at the end of the day, what people want is that this 500 bed capacity hospital will be completed, and it would relieve Komfo Anokye of all the pressure that is coming to it, because we don't have major alternatives around.
Yeah. So, well, I believe that with the uproar around it, and also admittedly with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's passion for health-related issues with the Mahama case and other things, and also admittedly the visit to Afari Hospital, it looks like both sides have realized their mistakes. They've seen how their past actions are costing the lives of Ghanaians. So I am quite optimistic that the hospital will be completed. I think we are in which month? We are in
June.
We are in June.
Middle of June.
We are in June. If it's 2%, I'm not an architect or an engineer, but if it's 2%, And judging from the fact that Kolebu and other big hospitals, Konfanochi, they were completed within 2 to 3 years in their original states, not the extensions. Then I think that maybe by next year, or maybe by the end of this year, if it's just 2%, we should be able to complete it at a reasonable price. That is what is most important.
Honorable Dapila, your final word on this.
Yes, let me state, I want my brother to understand that the Upper West Regional Hospital was completed before President Mahama left office. It took citizens of the region to embark on series of demonstrations and protests before the MPP then came to commission and operational the office. And they even did it with a seed capital. They did that. You understand? So for you to come and sit here and say that you came to complete the facility, I am telling you on authority, you can let your correspondents in the Upper West region check this fact for you. The hospital, the facility was completed. They came, instead of commissioning it, they didn't want it to look like the NDC that completed it. So they were delaying, and the citizens, the chiefs, the elders, sons and daughters from the region had to embark on series of demonstrations. They protested, and that compelled them to come and commission the facility without even the seed capital. Kudos to Dr. Robert Amisia, fantastic doctor who is now the current regional director of health services in the Greater Accra region. Now, let me also add, all the hospitals that he talked about that they completed them. The Salaga, all those hospitals, the 250 regional hospital in Kumasi, all of these hospitals, asking whether they initiated them. Those were hospitals we started. You understand? What I want to say is that the MPP and many Ghanaians think that they are disturbing our ears because it's a missed opportunity. They were in power for 8 years and needed to have completed the facility. They didn't do it. That is all that Ghanaians are saying. And that is why even their own stalwart is telling them that, look, you people, you failed the people of Ashanti region. You failed Ghanaians. You should have completed the project. As for 85 million, whether it's 85 million to complete the project, it is 100 million to complete the project, it is 50 million to complete the project must be completed. It's long overdue. And anybody, you see, these people, they easily do press conference. For them, anything. Even if they are coming to Parliament and one of them gets a slight accident, they will come and do a press conference. They are noted for press conferences. And they do premature press conferences. Because why? Nobody will go and spend money without recourse to, the Parliament, without recourse to, budget. You understand? So wait. Let the people who are in charge now, let them use whatever money they think they can use to complete the project. So that if you think that the money that they have used, somebody probably has, put his hand inside somewhere, let the law take its own course. But for us to come and sit here and assume that, a project that has been delayed like this, if you watch the surroundings of the project alone, and they tell you that $500,000 can complete that project, I will say no. I will say a big no, just by observing the facility. You understand? So for somebody to say that they did better than the NDC, I think it's even the reason why you were punished. Your own people punish you. So that is a fact.
Let me get your final thoughts on this in 30 seconds.
You see, like I said, your viewers must be, provided with facts and the truth. The project that is listed were initiated by MPP in 2008. It was not initiated by NDC. So don't come and sit here and then try to throw sand into Ghana.
We are talking of construction. When the works were
you said initiated. You didn't say construction.
Yes.
So it was not initiated by you. No. You inherited it and you continued, and you didn't complete it. You see, and if you completed the project in 2016 and you didn't commission it, you were commissioning a latrine and toilets in 2016 towards the election. You are going to tell you completed the whole hospital in 2016 and you didn't commission it.
What kind of lie is what do you expect to be done?
The point I'm saying is that NPP did what we could, and we did a lot for the people of Ashanti region and the whole of Ghana when it comes to health projects. We have initiated the most bold project when it comes to health, which is Agenda 111, to ensure that we get a decent hospital in every district in our country. That is one of the boldest, projects that you could think of when it comes to health. When it comes to health, we initiated the National Health Insurance, also one of the boldest projects when it comes to, and the NDC have come. You have a president who says health is important to him. However, he's building 261 markets.
But let me give you an example. You talk about agenda 111, $1.4 billion dollars spent, none of them completed.
But there are different stages of completion. And I've told you, I've mentioned at least 2 that were completed. You keep saying none of them were completed.
I want you to land on your point and then we'll move to the next one.
I live in Adenta, right? There's a market in Adenta, which is less than 50% occupied in Adenta. Anybody that lives in Adenta will tell you this. However, we have cleared a space in Adenta. We are going to build 24-hour markets. Does it make any sense? We are wasting money while we could have used these resources for better activities.
And a number of you sending in your messages. Bonti Benjamin says, Beatrice, in the final analysis, all the good people of the Ashanti region need is the operationalization of the Afari Hospital, and the government should make it a priority than investing in national resources. There's also a message from Ebo Bachman says, we are suffering as a nation because of misplaced priorities. We spent $97 million digging a hole for God in the name of National Cathedral, yet a 500-bed hospital costs about 180 million. Think about it. If you could complete the 9 hospital Eurogate project you inherited, why spend 400 million launching Agenda 111 only to leave the project uncompleted as well? There is a message from Master Planner Junior says $52 million, 160-bed Upper West Regional Hospital was commissioned on 18 August 2019. So that's what he's saying. And from Master Planner Junior. There's also a message coming in from Theo Annan and says, yes, the Dollar Boys finally woke up late in the game. Fair play. It was tough win. Let's be real. This Black Stars team isn't tournament ready. We looked lost in the first half. And yes, so he's not too confident that would make a lot. Let me just read this last message from Kwamlavi of Pokwase, Benghazi. Whether the articles favor... Okay, so that's... it's not related to what we are talking about, but thank you very much for sending in your messages. Hopefully I'm able to read a bit more before we conclude with our conversation. But let's talk about really Sedina Tamaklu Ationu, who arrived in Ghana on the 9th of this month to face her 10-year jail term. And the information we're getting is that she's been under house arrest, and the expectation is that she's already been convicted 10 years. She should be going straight to jail upon her arrival. Why does she have to be under house arrest? You're a lawyer, Mr. Nkrumah Bochu. Tell us really, are there any administrative or legal processes that need to be considered before she's eventually sent to jail to serve her 10-year sentence?
Yes. When a person is sentenced by a court in the courtroom, the court issues the warrant of commitment. And from that point that the warrant of commitment is issued, right from the courtroom, you become the property of the police and the prison's service. And the prison service decides which jail to send you to, depending on your sentence, the extremity of your crime. That's why we have medium security, high security, low security prisons, and the like. And if you are a female of childbearing age, indeed, pregnancy tests will be carried out and all kinds of procedures will be carried out. Therefore, right from the courtroom, you are not sent straight to, assuming they decide that, looking at your sentence, you have to be taken to Ankafo High Security Prison.
But she was tried in absentia.
She was tried in absentia. So once you are tried and you are sentenced, the warrant of commitment will still be issued. You understand me? So the moment she arrived in the country, she became the property of the prison's service because the judiciary has done its job. And the prison service decides where to take you. And the moment you land at Kotoka, they have to hold you at the nearest prison facility. Assuming looking at the crime, they had decided that, okay, we are taking you to Nsawam medium security prisons. From Kotoka at that time of the night, it may not be feasible to drive her there, process her and all that. So they may decide that we'll take you to there's a low security facility near the Boston Institute where people are sent when they're about to, I've forgotten the name of that place, to finish, that's around airport's residential area. They could have decided, I don't know whether she was taken there, but they can decide that we are going to take you there until we are ready to send you to Nsawam or wherever. I know of instances where sometimes they'll even hold you in a police cell until they are ready to transport you to where you have to go. However, we are all aware that Mrs. Atiunu had a health issue. That is why she traveled abroad. You understand me? And when she came back, from the reports that I have seen, I have heard that she still has some health issues. And the prison authorities, they are mandated not only to move you from prison to prison based on their own analysis, but to even move you to a health facility. So if you're at Nsawam, Nsawam has an infirmary, and your things take a turn for the worse. You can be taken to the infirmary. But
if you could be wrapping up for me.
If things are too serious, then you can be taken to Kolebu or another place. We've been told that she's being held, she's in the custody of the prison service. Being in the custody of the prison service does not necessarily mean you are in a jail cell. You could be in a conference room here, surrounded by the prison authorities. You are in the custody of the prison service. So she's not a free woman, in spite of wherever she is, because of her health condition.
What do you expect in the next few days? Because Ghanaians want to see justice served, as it were.
I believe that
in 30 seconds, please.
I believe that in the next few days, there should be a release of sorts that, okay, she's not well, because this is a high-profile case. She's not well, so she's being held at Kolebu or 37 or other place. When she's better, we are going to send her to here or there. I think that is the way to go.
Mr. Prempeh, let me get your final word really, and including your final word on it before I come to you, Honorable Dapila.
I mean, let's be honest here. You know, I don't take delight in the misgivings of other people, and I don't think anybody in the MPP delights on the misgivings of people. I mean, but however, we live in a society where we have laws and we have procedures that we must follow, right? We all know what happened. We know that she is back in the country. You know, as much has been communicated to us. But the question is, where is she at the moment? We just need some transparency. If she is ill, she deserves to get the treatment she deserves.
So you agree with what he's saying?
Of course. If she's ill, you don't keep a person in prison when they are ill and when they need medical attention. You don't do that. What we are asking for is transparency in the process, because it is looking as if some machinations are going on in the back end or in the background, you know, for her release or whatever it is. It's a matter of being transparent with the Ghanaian people. The person is back in the country. Now, it took a CSO, president to come and announce that from his information, she is in house arrest. She's under house arrest and she's home with a police guard or whatever the case is. Now, and I was happy that my learned friend, mentioned that being under prison custody does not mean you are in jail. So it can very well, because when the Minister of Government Information came out, he said, no, she's not under house arrest. She's under prison custody. She can also be in her own home, as has been explained, but the prison guards will be there guarding her. That is also in the... It
doesn't make her a free woman, you're saying?
I'm not saying, yes. What Ghanaians are asking for is transparency in the whole matter. What is going on? Where is she?
Honorable Dapila, what's your word? What do you know even about what's going on?
Well, before I say anything on this matter, I want to put on record that government appointees must be prepared at all time to account for their stewardship. That's why I told my brother that we are in an era of accountability. There are many, many whistleblowers now that when you are sitting in any office, operating or with the responsibility to take decisions, you ought to be very careful and ought to be very critical and prudent in whatever decision that you take, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. This matter of Sedina being returned and the speculations, people have already even conjured that the woman, there's going to be an appeal and the president is going to say what, blah, 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 and all of that. All I want to say is that it's all premature ejaculation. Whatever that will happen in this matter will be within the ambit of the law. Nobody will use power capriciously like it happened in other regimes. No, the president is so much careful about certain actions and inactions. Beatrice, my last word is that the MPP in demanding for whatever that they want in this Sedina Tamakule issue, they should bring Ken Ofori-Atta to come and account for his stewardship. That is all that I want to conclude on.
All right.
They should bring him to come and account for. Right. If they don't, if they are not able to do that,
okay. Thank you.
Look, let me tell you one thing. Listen, what will happen to you people if you are not able to bring your former finance minister to come and account for his stewardship, you will not be able to even campaign in 2028.
Let me give you a promise.
I'm sorry, we've run out of time.
In 2029, you come to power.
From Chairman Olabode Williams, your microphones are actually off. Says, good morning, Beatrice. Our MPP minority in Parliament serious at all? Why do you claim you commissioned a project that has not been completed? And I'm not able to read all the messages. We are suffering as a nation with misplaced priorities. I believe that's something I read earlier. But very shortly, the sports team will be taking over with Mundial Daily, but there's a big birthday wish coming from the loved ones of Della Dem of Top in 10 fame. God bless you. Happy birthday to you, and thank you all very much for sending in your messages. And let me say a big thank you as well to the Honorable Dapila Kletus Seidu, MP, Jirapa, Member of Parliament for Jirapa in the Upper West Region. Also to you as well, Mr. Kwame Nkrumah, private legal practitioner. Thank you for joining us. And to you as well, Mr. Kwame Prempeh, former Deputy CEO, Public Procurement Authority of the NPP. Let me say a big thank you as well to my costume this morning. Thank you very much for my costume this morning, located in East Legon. And let me say the big issue is brought to you by the University of Gold Coast. Whether you're aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you want to advance through our dual MBA or Chartered Manager MBA, University Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. And if your next step is an MSc in International Relations, Communication, International Marketing, International Law, Security, Diplomacy, Accounting, Finance, or Human Resource Management, an LLM in International Law, Security, Diplomacy, or an MA in Biblical Studies, Practical Theology, the pathway is open. Apply today, because at University of Gold Coast, we make it practical, flexible, and also flexible learning, flexible entry, and flexible payment. Study around your work and life. Choose a route that fits your background and pay in convenient installment. Your dream deserves structure, your future deserves a strategy, and of course, your purpose deserves training. Apply now, www.ugc.edu.gh, call or WhatsApp 026-388-8555. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. Thank you, Pamoni in East Legon, for my costume this morning. And of course, when we come back, we'll have the sports team taking over with Mundial Daily. My name is Beatrice. Stay with us.